Hey everybody, what's up? This is Retrokid Reviews with my long overdue, since you saw probably the pics earlier this week, Marvel Legends review of, what I'm gonna basically call Blue and Yellow Cable, or for most in the hobby, MVC2 Cable, because yes, the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 vibes are very much there. I know he also had this upgrade, suit during, out of my previous video, X-Men 97, and obviously in the Jim Lee comics earlier, in Nathan's run as a character. So, in case you can already tell, we already have the previous Cable. I think that was from an Abomination Wave back in either 2016, 2018. Don't quote me, but that's where we'll leave that. I know there's a Legends wiki, if not Legends verse, probably knows exactly when that Cable was around, so I'll leave that link in the description as well. I'm not affiliated by Legends verse, but if they're good at categorizing old school and even current day Legends, I would absolutely lose that as an affiliate if they let me or know me. So till then, let's get to the main man himself. Starting off with, I want to say the painting and sculpt, because I think Robo No said it best. This is pretty much way more bright white. Yeah, I'm trying my best not to sound like him for copyright reasons in case. But yeah, comparing him with the previous release, yeah, there is a lot of differences in hair, sculpt. I think the head sculpt was more of a Rob Liefeld's era of the character. This is definitely more Jim Lee as time went on. And another big difference is, well, the weaponry. We'll get to the accessories first before we get to the full articulation, because this is, for all intents and purposes, what I've told that this is a Hercules body that they remolded, because you can already tell there's still some, almost virtually no pins on the front. Oh, right here. Yeah, that's where basically the Hercules body comes in, and where a lot of, custom guys in the hobby have pretty much figured out what to do with the arms. Since you probably watched 97, said usually this sleeve always rolled up. You're absolutely right. We'll get to that later on. So here's the original loadout and vest for that Cable, and we're gonna leave the shotgun out because I don't have the blasters on me right now. I actually have this miniature Nerf End Strike Double Break. It could be in my room or somewhere when I made the move to put figure content downstairs until you saw earlier this week's episode with Denji, by the way. Well, we're going to use him for size comparisons, just spoiling that in advance. But with the new version of that blaster, you can definitely tell that a lot has changed in the near, I want to say, 6 to 7 years since that original figure, mainly on painting and sculpt. It's still essentially the same blaster, but you can definitely tell that there's more two-tone going on. There's a lot more silver. The black trimmings are, I think, about the same from the original. Yeah, about the same from the original blaster, but that's kind of where we are as, like, the double barrel of it all. The one thing I do miss now that I'm here, not a lot of weapon storage. Again, this is more G.I. Joe coded kind of stuff, because, yeah, the original Nathan over here looks great with other weaponry from other figure lines, like obviously Action Force here with the Scar. But outside of that, yeah, there's also the original, I want to say, Nerf Doomsday blaster. I think was the revolver 8-shot, I think. And coming off of the original blaster that there was in the old figure, about the same thing, like I said, with the double break. It is two-toned and stuff, but these are more or less blaster futuristic stuff that Nathan would have in his arsenal that probably got juiced up to be, I guess, X-Men ready, and I guess in Scott's eyes when he was in this point in the comics. For the arms, it's a lot better. It could be because there's about a good decade of hindsight almost between the two figures, but the double jointed elbows is a little hindered because, again, it's still working off an old shoulder joint, but again, still protrudes pretty well. The back is a back, and decent flex, so there's a bit of an old school ab crunch there. Another thing everyone's pretty much noticed is that the overlay kind of cuts off in the straps, because that's a way to like trick it into thinking he's flexing along with the straps. Speaking of, the painting and sculpt for the actual figure itself is pretty good. Like, the head sculpt is the most amazing out of the two, because another thing I noticed, and I think I did in my socials, is kit bashing it with the original figure. Sorry in advance for kids watching. Ooh, don't want to break the neck. did this, or, oh, here we go. And you slap it in pretty well. Now, the big difference when you kit bash it into the original body, a couple things that my lighting is a little off on, but you can already tell from the arm length that the skin tone's a little different. So if you're going to get another copy of the new cable, I highly recommend getting doubles so that you can, like, airbrush it a little down to the original paint. Also, speaking of this sculpt, I think Rob is using this original sculpt for his indie line, for his indie characters. I forgot the exact name, so I'll leave links to that. That's still in Big Bag Toy Store, so that's up to you guys. So, outside of swapping heads, these are base sets, so they're going to be easier to pop if you pop them back in, essentially. He says doing it on cam. Okay, one down, one more to go, and we're going to be back on articulation pretty soon, guys. My apologies for the wait. And, oop. Okay, snaps in pretty easily. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so speaking of the head sculpt here is pretty good. Again, it's the same kind of articulation from the original head, hence why it made it pretty well in the kit bash department, so my apologies there. The double jointed knees is actually pretty good. That's where the most pinless, I think the bottom half of the figure is. Because you can see, again, about a good almost decade difference between the two. So, again, that's pretty cool. I won't write home about the, I won't say ankle articulation. It's about the same. You got rockers. It pins out pretty easily. It's the most confirming, again, probably because this is freshly bought here in the house, so that's up to you guys. As for the rest of the figure, it's pretty good. I forgot to get the old hands. It's just an old fist and a grabby hand for his telekinetics. And another thing, speaking of the telekinetics, his power signature eye here is way more sparse and more, I guess, I mean, about the same-ish. It depends on the day. But yeah, again, I like this version of it. It's just more eye focused instead of like half the face focused. The scar on his other eye looks really good. The stubble basically screams, okay, I'm here, but I'm gonna have to do some stuff for my dad kind of stuff. No drop downs on the hips. I wish there were. Again, I know this is me coming off of Denji earlier this week, so another big thing there. You do get a decent spread. That's about as far as you're gonna go before breaking the legs. There's overlay on the pouches, and I think when you swap the hands, I don't have the old hands to prove that there's overlay, so for the sake of time, more or less, all right. Ooh. Yeah, overlay is right there. It does pop in, pop out. Trying to find my hand before we get to the rest of the articulation. Yeah. And yeah, with that and the arms and everything else out of the way, this is a pretty decent figure. So I guess to close out the video, let's see where he is with other figures I got on the tub. It's going to be more X-Men adjacent, obviously, for this character. So starting off the top, the exact opposite. Me, aka V from Cyberpunk, and you can already tell, like I said, there's a big difference between the two blasters. I might swap it, I don't know. That's really a me thing for as far as the kit bash goes. And yeah, it's about the same height. I think cable is nearing that 7-inch because this is a true blue 7-incher. So I'm guessing 6.5 on cable here as far as size goes. Be expecting figure downs. That's going to be probably the case here. So on to his more or less potential stepmom in the continuity, Emma, during the Astonishing costume. And, yeah, it's pretty much, babies first, I guess, family photo op, I guess, right here. As far as the size articulation goes, pretty cool, pretty nice. Last up is going to be a few other guys. Let's start with Denji from my last review. And, aside from the stand helping him, let me get the stand off, my apologies. I was kind of in a rush for this one. About the same height, more or less. Just the stare down on the two of them was actually pretty intimidating when I did the photo shoot with that earlier this week. So just saying, in and out of kayfabe aside. And we're already getting figured out. So let's get to the Howlets. Yes, I got both Wolverines here for size comparisons. Like I said earlier, just a pop on the blues and yellows on this version of each of these characters look pretty good. There's overlay, obviously, on this old figure for lore. Again, I really would love an upgrade just in the modern costume, honestly, on Legends front. Another thing, I am very much aware that they had a big X-Men stream, among other Legends brands, as of this recording. It came out yesterday. I'll definitely talk more about it, probably in character with either these guys or probably Cable, just to keep it out. But yeah, this is newly resurrection before Krakoa, Wolverine. This is where the hot up claws are. And yeah, Laura from her all new, all different era. And yeah, already you could tell a big difference in the shading with the blues and yellows over the years, especially in Cable's end. So with that, let's get to the last two. I got, again, another previously released here earlier this year, my Legends Legacy Deadpool, and there's the figure downs. Almost like they didn't want to put it away. Jokes aside, yeah, again, there's the height difference, so that's pretty much kind of where you want the canon height of them in the comics. So he is supposed to be lurching overweight, but I could be wrong. Ryan is, I think, about the same height as Cable is in the comics. So again, there might have been lifts on Brolin's front in Deadpool Part 2. So let me know in the comments. And last up, since we're talking about a guy from the future, here's my OC. Again, Retro Rider, and you could definitely tell more or less in the old figure that they've been through a weird apocalypse-driven kind of timeline. The only light kit bashing I did was swapping out the scarf from my Cobra Trooper and the Nectoplasm you guys see also from the Spawn figures as like their half-sword blade kind of thing, as more of the move set for this guy. And already you could kind of tell these guys have a history together back-to-back and stuff like that. That's kind of what I wanted to do with like old school out of their prime kind of Joes when they're next to Cable, like their old war buddies from different timelines and stuff. So with that and another figure down out of the way, let's close up this video with basically my overall rating for Cable. It's a perfect 9.5 out of 10. There's only like a few hiccups, not really much, other than I do miss out the backpack plug, because that would actually help with more weapons I'm going to put on him as time goes on. Outside of that, I did mention the reason why it's getting the 9.5 is that I would absolutely love to figure out the hot water trick for the bicep joint and get a Hercules that's the body mold for this figure and just swap out and do a roll-up sleeved Nathan here, but I don't think I have the ability to do or the time given that we're nearing so close to the end of the year. So with that being said, my overall thoughts, yeah, it's definitely high marks. There's no getting around it. This is going to be, aside from, I want to say, Wade here, the most necessary upgrades I've ever had to do for my character roster for the channel. I want to say, if we're here for end of the year stuff, him and going off of receipt bias with Chainsaw Man here are pretty much the top 3 of the year as far as figures I've done here on the channel. So unless I do a top 5 for figures, I'll let you know probably as January content goes. But by then, that's kind of where we are. So what did you think of this review? What did you think of Nathan finally getting his upgraded moment to shine? And with Wade over here looking pretty creepy with Wade, or sorry, with Denji out of the way. End cards finally coming up to Nathan over here. To sub to the channel, hit the notification bell down below. And a very happy holidays in advance if I don't get this out on time. With that all being said, go to the figure pile here for my upcoming TV review for Creature Commandos. I heard there's nothing but good news on that. Speaking of, go to my previous video as well for the Skeleton Crew for Star Wars. And also new short will be around here-ish for Critical Role for episode 102. And also next week, as far as Marvel content goes, I want to announce this here. I'm definitely going to try my best to see Kraven the Hunter. And yeah, it's going to be... It's going to be one of those times, guys. So, no acting, no nothing, because, again, once I'm down here in the basement, I want to take it seriously as a figure review. So, with that all being said, I'm Retrokid Review saying, man, this Cable is really good, guys. You have no idea.